Greetings and salutations, friends, and welcome back. Today is an interesting day. It has been a very hectic day for me, and this has not been helped by some of the things that happened today, including a hell of a lot of technical issues, both on my side and apparently on my guest's side. So we connected up shortly before broadcast, and he was having this synchronization issue or problem. Not sure what that's about, but he's rebooting and we'll try to get him connected. In the meantime, I can tell you that honestly, I know a little bit about tonight's guest, but I don't know an incredible amount of details because many of you know that what I selfishly do is I try not to have a lot of off-air conversations with potential guests because I would prefer to have those conversations on air and take you all with me. And that's what we'll be doing tonight. What I can tell you is that our guest is, like me, a local Philadelphia native and recently moved to the suburbs. He and I have a lot of strange things in common. And isn't that weird? But he has had these strange experiences for some time now and has been documenting them with video. And I have seen several of these examples, and he has been sharing some things publicly that he has been capturing of these strange experiences. And this is why I called tonight's show High Strangeness with Ricanhavoc, because it would appear that there is multiple phenomena, or maybe one phenomenon at play, masquerading as different things. It's very interesting, some of the things that he captures. Now, there is a video which he shared with me recently. Let me see if we can get that here. And he has been capturing these things for some time. Here we see, I believe we see, our guest is here. Ricanhavoc is here. He's wreaking havoc on my show with his tech issues. He's still. Is it okay? Is it okay if I play that video, that example video?
I'm having a problem with my audio. 1 second.
Okay. We'll come back to him. Give him a few minutes there. When he gives me the thumbs up, we'll bring him back. So I do have, interestingly, the problem that I have with some people, and that's such a broad term, experiencers, but I have a problem with some so-called experiencers because usually they have a very interesting story and a personal experience. And when it comes to actual physical evidence, video, pictures, they usually have almost nothing or nothing. John is very different in that he has been trying to capture this phenomenon and document this phenomenon for some time now. And interestingly, he has decided to share some of the things that he is capturing publicly. While we wait for our guests, I'm going to recognize and thank everybody for being here in the live chat. We'll do a rundown here and some shout outs. We haven't done that in a while. So shout out to Brandy Phillips, the Sixth Sense is here. Mysteria Dragonheart is here. Ricanhavoc was here earlier. Let's see. We have Renee Cruz is here. First Floor Audio, good to see you. We have Madam Two Swords, good to see you. Again, Dr. T is here saying, good evening, gentlemen. Well, good evening, Dr. T. We have Ghost Rider here. Ron from Cosmic Neighbors, who I owe a punch in the face for all of my 3D printing aggravation. Plan D is here. Burn Eye Mind's Third Eye Science Guy is here. He stole that from Bill Nye, but he's a real science guy. Well, not really, right? Burn Eye, you're like he's a modern day alchemist. Yeah, people still do that. Scott Hernandez is here. Amy Collins is here. Let's see. Tommy T is here. We've mentioned Renee Cruz is here. Plan D. I see. Let's see. Sarah Bedjin is here. Sarah Adegrin. Marco is here. Good to see you, Marco. Good to see you all in the live chat. The live chat is hopping tonight. We have Mike here. Good to see you, Mike. Oh, I don't know who's talking about that guy. That is the name we don't mention here. He did kind of, the Sixth Sense reminding everybody, everyone has a voice here as long as they are respectable. Ghost 8 is here. Tic Tac Toe is here. Anthony Purcell is here. Whoop, whoop, I'm here, he says. Yeah, we're glad to see you. Valiant Stallion is here. Channel member UFO John Doe is here. Stephen, don't forget to share the video you did. I will email you as soon as we're done the show. It's been a very hectic couple of days. I will get it to you, UFO John Doe. That's the least that I could do for you. And I think that John has his problems, issues resolved. We're going to try it again. There we go. John, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good. I think we're good now, right?
Yeah, you got a lag still. We're going to go with it, though. How about that?
It looks good on my end. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, maybe the lag is just what I'm seeing. I don't know. The people in the live chat will let me know, but it's okay because we can see you and we can hear you, and it's a live show. We roll with the punches here. You sent me this this video that's titled "A Very Basic Video of Some of My Evidence of Many Different Phenomena."
Mm-hmm.
It's got a lot of weird stuff in it. Are you okay with us sharing it here?
Absolutely. Go right ahead.
Okay. All right. We're gonna get the audience into what's been going on with you by sharing this, and I think it's a good example of some of the stuff that you've been capturing. Let me do that one more time. Sometimes I forget to share the audio. Okay, I got it. There we go.
So these are screenshots of videos I've recorded about a couple years ago.
Interesting.
Yeah, and all these images were only visible for one frame, never longer than one frame. So I had to really look through the video.
Wow, the 30 frames a second. Yeah, you got to really.
Yeah, like this one here. This one has maybe, I don't know, 5-6 faces in it. That's super zoomed in with a filter, but I have that on video as well.
And can I ask you, because I know that you've recently moved, was this phenomenon just at your old place in Philadelphia, or is it still happening in your new home?
Well, I have it happen no matter where I go, but when I lived but when I lived here is the only time I ever thought to record anything. So this was like the first time I actually started researching what was going on with me. This was taken outside on, I believe that was Christmas morning 2 years ago. There's a head just in the middle of the sky.
That's bizarre.
And
now this one I kind of went, I don't know, because I see there's an air conditioner in the room. Was that on at the time you filmed this? Do you know?
No, this is 5:16 in the morning. I just left for work. I can also point out, if you see the lamp in the left corner, on the table in front of that lamp is a HEPA filter that I was running 24/7 to kind of cancel out the idea that it could be dust.
So you don't believe this is dust? You believe this is something else?
No, if I believed it was dust, I would never try to share it.
Hey, I got it. I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't say, hey, there's an air conditioner. Could this be dust blowing around?
I know, I get it.
Yeah.
And all these images were originally all orbs. It's just for that split second, I guess they show themselves, or I'm able to record it.
Yeah, this is Exorcist type looking stuff. And this is something in the sky?
This was outside. That one video was outside of my house, my apartment.
Yeah. And also you are showing these marks, and you believe these marks are from what?
I would say abductions.
And how frequently are these these abduction events happening?
Well, I only can tell it's happening by waking up with the marks. That's the only
so you have
idea I have.
You have no
No,
conscious recall, but
I've only seen the beings once, and that was in '95. You know, all this stuff. I just wake up with these strange marks, and I just put the two together.
can you
Like
describe
this is a good one here because this mark right here I woke up with one morning. This is the same mark 2 hours ago. You can see how the bruising kind of changed, and this is the same mark that same night.
And can you said that you actually saw the beings. Can you describe the beings and how and what are the circumstances that you viewed them or saw them or
Yeah,
in 95?
yeah. My family was going on a vacation, and I had the opportunity to stay home. So at 15, I decided I would stay home for the night, and I came home like 11 o'clock at night from playing basketball, regular day. Took a shower. I hop into bed to watch TV. All my lights are on, and all of a sudden my bed starts vibrating, which at the time I was like kind of blew it off, but it started intensifying to the point where my bed was jumping off the floor, and there would be like only one leg on the floor at any given time. So the things like just jumping around all over the place. I was actually holding on to my mattress. It was pretty intense. It lasted a decent amount of time. And then I just got this crazy feeling that's go through my body. Like everything just kind of stopped. And I looked over to the right, and there was two of them basically with their faces against my bedroom window, just looking directly at me.
And what exactly did they look like?
They looked like the typical gray, but there was like no muscle definition or bone definition. There was not like no creases in their skin. It was like perfectly shaped, perfectly symmetrical. It had a big head up top, long chin. The eyes were weird because it looked like they kind of sat on their face. Like there was no indentation of the skin. There's nothing. The skin was like flawless. There's no marks whatsoever. So it looked like the eyes were like resting on their face. There wasn't even an indentation in the skin. It was like perfect looking. It's one of the best ways I can describe it. And
many people have said that those are manufactured beings. I guess if they're manufactured, you wouldn't put wrinkles or flaws in their skin, right? I don't know.
Yeah, but like I could see their skin. I've seen the pores in their skin. I've seen like the little cracks in their skin, like we have, but it was a little more prominent than theirs. Their faces were like, I don't want to say they're moist, like a amphibian or a reptile. I know how some of those animals have like like that. If it wasn't for the skin and the details I saw, I would think about the idea of it being something that was made or a helmet or something. But I mean, I saw the skin so detailed. I don't think it's something like a helmet or something like that, basically.
Somebody's asking in the live chat, and this is good question. It was on my list to ask. It's about what is your belief system and how were you raised religiously? Like, were you raised Catholic or Christian or?
No, never went to church, anything like that. Not religious. That had no effect on anything.
Oh, okay.
But still, that's not all that happened that night. It was a pretty interesting event.
Oh yeah, I was getting back to that. So
yeah.
So you see these beings sort of pressing their faces against your bedroom window. What happens next?
Yeah, and there was two of them, and one was a little shorter than the other one. I always had the impression that was a female, the smaller one. Nothing visually told me that, but it's kind of what I felt when I seen them. But when I looked at them, it was like automatic, like our eyes just locked. Like I couldn't look away from the one's eyes. I could still see kind of around, but when I locked onto the one's eyes, I didn't blink, I didn't breathe. I don't know, everything like stopped. It was absolutely intense. And like the first thing that came to my mind, to be honest, was why are they in the suburbs? Because I used to watch, the alien shows like on History Channel back in the day. And they always talk about times where people see UFOs like in a desert or like an abandoned highway. So I just kind of thought that's where they did their business, because it was so secluded.
In
So like
desolate places. Sure.
when they were standing on my like first floor patio roof in a condensed suburban neighborhood, that's the first thing that honestly crossed my mind. It blew me away. And so after like looking in the one's eyes for, I don't know, like 15, 20 seconds, I turn to my left and I see shadows of pairs of legs, like the shadows casting under my door into my floor. And that's when I kind of freaked out. I threw a blanket over me. I got down into the fetal position. I was just waiting for them to grab me. And it felt like a second later, I'm waking up on my couch the next morning.
And so you don't have a recollection of like being on a ship or being taken outside of your house. You just blacked out and woke up in your room?
In the living room, in another room, yeah. I was like hanging off. Like my legs.
How much time passed between you're seeing them and you waking up in the morning?
I woke 7 hours, I would say. I woke up around 7 a.m. I remember the sun was just coming up.
So they could have had you for 7 hours if it was an abduction experience, do you think?
I mean, something could have happened there. Maybe I never left. All I know is they were there. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all I know for a fact is they were there.
Yeah.
They were in my house. They were definitely about to do something. And that's all I can say for a fact, But
this is a good question. UFO John Doe is asking, did someone die in that place before he lived there? Because I noticed something a little during your video, and that is that you have like an alien head on one of the backs of your chairs. So you have some kind of interest in aliens. I'm just curious too as to why. Well, I guess because you saw aliens, like why go right? You sort of bypassed other explanations of what's happening here, right? It's not demons, it's not interdimensional beings or ghosts. You went to this is aliens because you saw what appeared to be aliens, right?
Yes, and I've also experienced all them other things throughout the years, but I'm pretty much like a skeptic, like I feel bad saying this, but I don't believe a lot of other people's stories. I have a hard time believing them. I don't believe in much until I see it myself. And I've seen a lot of things I swore were impossible, but I would never have believed it unless it was 2 feet in front of my face,
Yeah, I guess that experience would have colored your opinions, right? Like, did you believe in alien abductions and things before you had your own experience at 15?
Yeah, but I believe they were taking like somebody who was in a vehicle driving down a lonely highway in the middle of nowhere by themselves. That's how I assumed it happened, and that really blew me away. That was definitely the first thing that went through my mind is, damn, they're in the suburbs. Like, that just blew me away because the houses in my neighborhood were 20, 25 feet apart. Like, if you stand on one roof of my patio, you can look down the whole neighborhood, like a straight shot, 30 houses. That just blew my mind. Like,
they were in a populated place that was that busy and populated, right? And I'm curious just because so you have this experience at 15. Do you tell anybody about it or did you keep it to yourself?
I told a couple of friends, I think, right away. And then I found out that that's not something you really go around telling people.
Yeah, not if you don't want to get locked up, right? You get locked up,
so
stuff like that.
So I kept it to myself.
See, a lot of people seem to believe, John, that a lot of this activity is demonic. I grew up Catholic and almost became a priest. I even know an exorcist personally, and I guarantee you that the exorcist Catholic priest I know would go right to demons in your situation based on available evidence. He says that demons masquerade as aliens. Have you given any thought to the fact that this may be trickster demons or shadow beings or some other not alien kind of entities?
I mean, kind of, but I've seen this thing like flesh and blood, It would take a lot to make me change my mind on what I saw.
Sure. And so Anthony's asking, did you have a Ouija board or play with one, or do you have one?
That's
Some
something I'll never mess with. I think they're
Okay.
dangerous.
Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah. Some people think that that is a doorway. You open a doorway to demons if you, play with that kind of, because you're
Yeah.
inviting spirits in, and you don't know what those spirits really are. They could
Yeah,
be
I don't want to find out if they
demonic.
work or not.
Yeah. And Anthony, somebody else is also, Anthony is also asking, do you live on any ley lines or buy one? Have you ever looked into that?
I did. I live I guess in between cross section ley lines. Then I think they form a triangle. I think I might live Philly's like kind of in the middle of that, if I remember correctly.
Interestingly, you're absolutely right. Yeah. And the only reason I know that is because, John, my wife and I's first house, and we got a great deal on this house. And to me, it was a great deal. But we lived on a block where right across the street, the entire other block next to us was a graveyard, an entire city block. And
Wow.
because of that, we had great parking. So we thought this is a great idea, and the neighbors will be quiet, right? There was weird stuff from the moment there was knocking, and I heard voices, my wife heard voices. It was weird stuff. And then I looked up, we had ley lines vaguely near us in Philadelphia. And then what we found out was I had a ghost hunter kind of person that I knew being into all this stuff, and he came with all the equipment. We had super high levels of magnetic anomalies, like his magnetometer was going crazy, especially in the basement. So I guess one of the things that I would like to do for you is come there with some equipment. He only lives, friends, a half hour from me here. I have some of that equipment. I'd be willing to come with a magnetometer and some other scientific stuff and see if we see anomalies, because I think it's important, don't you, to rule those things out, like the science aspect of it. Like if this is just high levels of and magnetic anomalies can cause hallucinations, they can cause people hearing things, or
Yeah.
have you thought about having somebody do that sort of work to look around? And
Well, I had paranormal investigators come to that apartment a year and a half ago, and they got some evidence. They got some voices. They have a thermal picture of one of the guys standing in my living room, but there's like a dark figure with black eyes like standing right next to him.
That's interesting. You got to send me some of that stuff. You got to send me that stuff, because I'd be willing to follow up with you after tonight, and we'll see if there's anything else that can be captured. I'm a sucker for this stuff. Anytime somebody tells me like, "Hey, my house is haunted," I'm like, "I'm coming over. I'll bring in my bag full of goodies, and we'll see what we can find."
And the crazy thing is, I bought the cameras to try to catch an abduction on camera. That was the only reason I bought them. I didn't know what orbs were or any of this stuff at that time.
And that's interesting. That's the first question that I have, because some people have told me things like, not you, but others have said, "Oh, I get abducted every night." I'm like, "Great, set up a camera. Let's capture this." But what has been your experience trying to capture these abduction experiences?
I didn't capture anything like that on camera, and I had my camera running for a year. I had plenty of times where the camera would like cut out, or pieces of film would be missing, but that could have been an error on my computer, or something could have glitched with the camera. I don't know. But as far as the flesh and blood being, I wasn't able to capture that. But that was my goal. And then what happened was, one day all I saw was one orb on camera, and that just sent me down a rabbit hole. And a couple of days later, I had a video with like 3 orbs. Then it was like 10 orbs. And then I started seeing these beings in the videos. And that's when I started recording every day.
But do you think that some of that stuff could be, what is that term? Like when you see shapes in a cloud, parabolia?
Pareidolia.
Pareidolia. Yeah, you're right. I can't even get that right. But you know how, listen, our brains are wired to make sense of things. So if we see, for example, look at this background. People have told me they saw demon faces in my background or something, because our brains try to make sense of what we're seeing. Do you think some of that could be pareidolia, or are you convinced that this is a genuine, real phenomenon?
I'm pretty convinced because, considering my dozens of experiences, years prior to that. And if I do have stuff on camera that looks iffy to me, but I don't even share it because it's not.
So you only show what you think is the best evidence, the best stuff.
Yeah, I have thousands of files, and I only show the ones that I'm convinced it is what it looks like, And I have plenty of stuff that looks similar, like it'll be more distorted, but you can kind of see a figure.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just keep that to the side. But I know personally that could be something, but that's not something to share because it just looks all, the eyes might be all crooked and like it's doing a weird position. Like it might look totally pixelated too. And that kind of stuff I don't share. I just share the stuff that I'm confident in.
Now, when it comes to these abduction experiences, how often do you think if you're being abducted, you're actually being taken? Do you have a sense of that?
I can't answer. I have no idea. I assume I'm being taken every time.
I understand that, but what I mean is this like once a month they come and
it's weird. Like sometimes it'll happen 3 times in 1 week, and then won't happen for a few months. They'll happen once. They'll have like another 2-month break, and it'll happen again, and then 1 week it might happen twice. It's been that way like pretty much since I was 15. But I used to dismiss everything back in the day. Or like the holes and like the marks. Didn't think nothing of it. I was totally oblivious. I wish I started documenting this stuff when I was a teenager.
Yeah. So are you, listen, I just got to ask this, like, aren't you afraid of whatever this is? You seem to be like pretty you seem to be pretty chill about it. Like, yeah, I'm capturing all this stuff but aren't you fearful? Are you afraid of it?
I mean, I used to be more, but it's my life. This is everyday stuff, man. I've been dealing with this over 25 years. At some point, it gets kind of normal. It's scary when the stuff happens. I get that moment where like, you freeze and you like your breath stops for a second. You're just like, what the hell is that? And I kind of just keep it moving after that. Like, what can I really do? The only thing that scares me is another face-to-face with it being like, flesh and blood. Like, that's the only thing that I hope doesn't happen again. But everything else is, I haven't been hurt. I felt things like, jump on me while I'm sleeping and things like that. But I haven't been hurt.
Wait,
like nothing.
You said you haven't been hurt, but those marks don't look friendly to me. Have you?
Well, I equate that to the abductions, and I chalk that up as if that's the least I have to deal with the whole situation, I'll take it. What I'm saying?
What do you think the marks are about? Are they penetrating your skin and taking blood and samples, or what is the?
I can't say for sure, but I can tell you every time it's always like a different mark. It's weird. My knees were marked up so much in 1 week that 3 of them different marks were visible at one time. The scarring is pretty much going away. It's faded. But I don't know what they're doing. All I know is they're putting holes in me and they're going deep and they're not there when I go to sleep. And, I wake up and sometimes I might not notice till a couple of days. I won't until I actually look at it and I start seeing patterns. And I'm like, damn. I take a quick picture and when in the beginning I was scared for sure. Like when I recorded that video of the shadow person in my living room, I almost moved because of that. That creeped me out.
Yeah, that's a little freaky.
Because that was something like physically moving, like I get goosebumps thinking about it. That was creepy.
But, yeah. And there is something like just that my own little bit of experience with what I thought was ghosts like filled me with fear. It was like this otherworldly thing. Yeah. And it made me, made my blood run cold. And, I was uncomfortable in my own house. And after something like that happened, I just couldn't relax. Like, like you're like, what the hell is this? And why is it here? And why is it bothering us? Like,
I used to feel claustrophobic sometimes when I was by myself. Like I just felt there was like something there, like in my space. You can almost feel the energy.
Yeah, and cosmic neighbors is a very good question, and I think you have. But have you set up a recorder when you sleep?
Yeah, my security cameras were running 24/7 for over a year, but I never seen anything at nighttime. Actually, all the footage I have on my cameras is from about 5 a.m. to about 6:30 a.m. is the window of time I would record that activity. So after recording for so long, I narrowed it down to when the activity was taking place, and I kind of ignored the rest of the footage because there's no way I can watch, all that footage. Because I think for my camera for 1 month, it would save about 9,000 files. There's no way I can
Yeah,
look through
so you
that.
can't sift through all
I
of
narrowed
that.
it down to the window where the most activity took place. I concentrated on digging through that footage.
And I tend to ask everybody this who feels like they're having an alien abduction experience, but do you get any sense of what they want or why they're taking you specifically?
No clue on that.
And can I
No.
ask a personal question? Do you have family members from other generations, like father, grandfather, mother, grandmother, or children that have had similar experience?
I haven't talked to my family at all about this, so I have no idea.
I'm only asking
You know.
because it's in my study of some of this stuff. It seems very common that people, it's generational somehow. Like
I agree 100%. Yeah.
for some reason they're interested not only in this subject but in the subject's father, which leads many to speculate that there's some genetic component to what they're doing. Why else would they be interested in multiple generations, fathers, grandfathers and children?
I agree with that. Totally, yeah. That's the main reason why I haven't had any children yet.
You're a little worried that they'll mess with your children?
Yeah. I mean, if I can't even protect myself, I can't imagine the feeling knowing like my children are being taken if that would ever happen. Because you're absolutely helpless. I can't even do anything for myself. I don't want to be put in that position. I think that would be terrible.
Yeah. This is an interesting question from Ron from Cosmic Neighbors too, and he says, so instead of going through 9,000 files, why not check the recording right after something happens? Do you do that when there's a period of high activity? You save that section and sort of dig through it, or?
Oh yeah, for sure. That window in the morning from like 5 to 7 a.m. or whatever that is, those couple hours in the morning, that automatically gets saved in its own thing. But then it leaves the rest of the day and night of footage. And I used to spend time looking through it, and I found like one orb at night out of like 50 videos, and I decided there's no way I can tackle all this. So I just chose one area to focus on.
Yeah, well, and another question that I had for you is, do you live with other people or by yourself?
So right now I'm living with my family, but when I was recording those videos, I was living by myself.
Okay. But you said that this activity has followed you to your new home where you're living now?
It's everywhere I've lived. Everywhere I've lived, something has happened. A big event has happened everywhere I live.
Well, that's interesting because of the multiple locations, you can kind of rule out like an environmental cause to this. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes I said it's magnetic, or there could be high concentrations of chemicals in the water where you lived causing hallucinations or strangeness. And I also have to ask this, and please don't take offense, but like, have you been to like a psychiatrist, a counselor, a mental health professional to try to rule out this is that sort of thing?
No, not at all. I know.
So you don't have any other mental issues besides this stuff, right?
Regular guy, work construction.
And I hate to ask, but I gotta. People are gonna say, like, is
I know you have to ask.
Crazy? Did he go to a crazy head shrinker to see if he's just crazy? I like to rule that out. And I'm gonna ask you another strange question. Have you ever taken or considered taking a polygraph about your experiences? Has anybody asked you to, or have you? No.
No one's. I never really thought about that. Um, I would do it. Why not?
I like
I
polygraphs.
what?
You know what? You know why I like polygraphs? Because to me, it eliminates. And I'm not saying you're this kind of person, but it eliminates people who are seeking money or fame, or just want to be in the spotlight. Do you know what I mean? Because instantly you sort of know, like those sort of people fail polygraphs, and had someone else that I was looking into that I decided to not really pursue anything with as far as investigating, because they spent all day promoting themselves on social media, all day promoting the experiences that they were having. And honestly, that turned me off. It just instantly. And I noticed, like, you occasionally post something, but it's not, you're not out there looking for notoriety or fame or a TV deal, right? You're just, this is what's happening to me. And I guess, is it cathartic to share this stuff a little bit, because you sort of meet other people that are having similar experiences? You're not alone? Or is it helpful to share this stuff? Because it's got to be stressful, right? You're sitting here getting grilled by me, right? I'm trying to be nice to you. I'm trying to not grill you too much.
You can ask me whatever you want, man. I get it. The main purpose I really share my stuff is because I know ufology is pretty much filled with BS. And I know I have some legitimate stuff because it's mine. I did it myself, so I know what I have is legit. So I like to put it out there. Put some.
Well, I'm not going to mention any names, but I'm sure some people have been very critical of you, even calling you a fraud or a faker, or you're making this stuff up, or it's nothing, and you're seeing things you want to see. But what do you say to the critics? The people that think that you're faking things, or that there's nothing to this?
I don't concern myself with them anymore. Those people, you're probably not going to change their minds anyway, and I wasn't expecting that type of reaction. Like in the beginning, when I first went on YouTube and was doing interviews, I was so naive. I thought everybody was in it for the same goal. Like, we're all just people trying to get to the truth.
Yeah, me too. And it's a rude awakening, right? When you get it's a rude awakening when you see.
I'm thinking like these people are my friends and all this stuff, man. And it took a little bit of time, but I seen what was really going on, and it's sad because, like, what else can I do with like what my investigating of my life or whatever? Like, where else can I share it? I'm like forced to be in the ufology bubble, and it's so toxic. Like
I know something about that. I've gotten death threats. Somebody came in the live chat and threatened my wife by names. People doxed me. People threatened to kill me. Somebody a few months ago, somebody threatened to shoot me in both my kneecaps because they didn't want me to die. They just wanted me to suffer. Like, there are some toxic people in this thing, right? You got to be careful.
Yeah, and it's a lot of people, I believe, also who are like playing dress up news anchor. They're just like playing, and they're just using ufology as their way in, because you really can do it. You really can do whatever you want, right? Like, you can say the most fantastic story in the world, and people will believe it, but obviously there's no proof to anything, so you kind of get away with it. So you can just kind of do what you want.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in this thing where, like, I can't prove that they're lying, but they can't prove that they're telling the truth because they have zero evidence, And it's amazing to me that some guys are making millions of dollars just telling stories, and they're always getting updates and intel from the aliens, and like telling people what the aliens, it's just bizarre. You seem to be much more genuine, but maybe it's just because we're both from Philly. We have similar backgrounds. So I know I know a little bit about what kind of guy you are based on that, Another question I had is, have you seen UFOs or any anomalous things in the sky, either during or around these experiences besides what's happening in the home?
I think I seen one in '95 as well after the abduction while I was playing basketball. At first, I thought it was a shooting star. And I watched it from like the eastern horizon just slowly go across the sky. I'm watching it the whole time. I'm like trying to tell my friend to look at it, and it just stopped in the center of the sky, like complete dead stop, and it just blew me away. I'm trying to tell my friend to look at it, but we're playing basketball. He thought I was going to steal the ball from him. And I'm like screaming at him to look at the sky, but it sat still for like almost 30 seconds. It felt like a long time. And then like with a blink of an eye, it just shot across the second half of the sky, like super fast, like that. I don't know what else that could have been since the way it stopped and took off, but that's the closest thing I can say I've seen to a UFO.
And have you done any sky watching around your home to see if you see anything out of the ordinary?
I just started recently. I actually bought a pair of these like binoculars that have like a digital screen with night vision. So I started doing some sky watching with them, but I can't tell the difference between satellites, stars. It all looks the same.
Oh, I can help you with that. I've got a satellite tracking program and some other stuff. At my cabin in the Poconos, there you see things in the sky all the time, and I have to get the satellite tracking. Starlink is crazy because of Elon Musk's Starlink. You'll see 5 lights perfectly in alignment in the sky, moving together, and it turns out those are Starlink satellites and things like that. And we have an excellent question from Stephanie Jackson in the live chat. Thanks for being here, Stephanie, and says, I have a question for John. Hearing other people's stories of UFOs, which one do you relate to the most? Thanks for coming and sharing your experience. Is there somebody that you relate to a lot? You know, because I'm sure you've heard some of these other stories from Travis Walton, Whitley Strieber, Communion.
Not really. I really don't follow that kind of stuff, to be honest with you. I kind of try to stay in my own lane when it comes to ufology stuff and only deal with my own experiences and evidence. So I really don't get into those. I don't know enough about them to even comment, to be honest.
Yeah, and Mike is here a little bit more skeptical, asking what is the best he has. I think he means the best evidence that you have after all this time. And Mike is also saying, what is his absolute best proof and what is it proof of?
That's a good question.
I told you you're going to get grilled a little bit. This live chat can be brutal. They're being pretty nice to you actually today. Nobody's like, beating you up too much. I think that's a fair question. You've been recording this stuff for a long time. And what is
the hard thing is that everything's different. You know, I would say the video of the shadow person running out of a light and like popping out behind my couch. That's pretty good. Also, I have a picture of what looks like a demon's face, which is very disturbing when I look at it, but it looks like a legit demon. It has like the hooked chin and the frown and the horns. That's pretty good too. But I think the shadow person, just because that's something physically moving across, the camera, it's not a screenshot of something you can't even see on camera.
There we go. Now we're back. It locked up right when you started talking about demons. It locked up. That's bizarre. I'm shutting down everything but the stream. It might have been my fault, but I don't think so. That's bizarre. So yeah, you do have you have some better stuff than what you've shown tonight. Maybe you could send me some of those things and I can, do some kind of a video and sort of narrate and show the audience more of what you've captured, because I know that I've seen some other stuff that you have, and you have captured an awful lot of stuff. Caroline is here, channel member. Hello, everyone. Dude. I'm so late. Yeah, we got to get her. Can we get her anything like a watch, maybe, Caroline? But we're glad that you're here. Here, there you go. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say the craziest stuff that's happened is stuff that's like most people don't want to hear about. Like, let's say one time, I think I'm fairly confident I had like an out of body experience. Like I was somewhere else, like stuff like that. That kind of stuff happens pretty often, but it's hard to talk about because most people will say you're just dreaming, or you're crazy, or you just made it up, or your mind's just messing with you. There's plenty of excuses. There's like zero evidence, whatsoever that I had an out of body experience, but I had one. There's a lot of stuff like that. It's just stuff I've seen throughout the years.
And what was that like? The only thing I can relate it to is, I don't know if you've ever done a sensory deprivation chamber, but that feels to me like an out of the body experience, because you sort of in that tank. If it's a good one, you lose everything except your consciousness. You become just a consciousness. That's all you have is your mind and your thoughts. You can't feel anything. You can't see anything, smell anything, touch anything. It's bizarre. It's a really surreal experience. I recommend it to everybody. But what was this out of the body experience like for you?
Dude, it was absolutely insane. As I go to sleep, I fall asleep on my couch, and then like next thing I know, I'm like somewhere where it's red. Everything's like red, like the ground's red, sky's red, and it's like windy, like super, like a sandstorm. It's real windy, and I'm looking at something like bent over, like it looks like it was working on something, and I'm looking at it, and it slowly stood up, turned around, and like looked me dead in my eye, and the feeling was weird. The best way to explain it, how it felt, was like my eyeballs were like taken out and just put somewhere else. Like I 100% flesh and blood was not there, but like my eyes were there. Like I was partially there. It's hard to explain. But 10 minutes before that happened to me, I never believed in that stuff. I thought it was too far fetched, and then it happens to me and I'm like, well, that's real. That's crazy. And then I find myself in a position where you can't really talk about it because that kind of stuff just, gets completely ridiculed.
Yeah, and somebody was asking if you've tried to record EVPs, or have you set up audio recorders to try to capture EVPs or anything like that?
In the beginning, I used to pick up like the sound of boots walking on a hardwood floor. For months, I thought that was my neighbors, until one day I realized they have carpet and I never heard them walk like that. So I used to catch audio in the beginning and I stopped doing it. But when the paranormal investigators came, phantom detectives, they came to my apartment and they have audio EVP of two women, they said, cursing at each other. They're picking up on the radio. Supposedly a lot happened that night. Like, they told me when they left my apartment that they all felt like sick to their stomach.
Oh, that's interesting.
And I'm thinking like, great, I live here. Like I can't afford just to get up and leave, But they said when they all went into my bedroom, they said like they felt like the presence of someone who took their life or whatever.
Oh, wow, that's bizarre. I'm sorry to laugh, but I was thinking of a black friend of mine who he was talking to me about ghosts and demons, and he said it's only stupid white people that stay. Black people, Puerto Ricans, they would just get up and get the F out of there. They would not hang out in a house where this stuff was going on. They would just move,
Yeah. Dude,
and B. Baker has a great question. Does the phenomenon change its behavior based on John's behavior, and how intelligent do you think it is?
I think they're intelligent. Whatever it is just as much as we are. As far as it changing, it's steady. It's a nice steady pace of puncture wounds and seeing shadow people. It's like, but the crazy thing, which I don't understand, is all this stuff usually happens one time. Like I get like a little taste of everything. Like it's usually a one and done. The shadow people I see everywhere I go, that's a constant. Waking up with the marks is a constant. But everything else is like a one and done wherever I lived. I never had like really duplicate experiences.
And do you feel that this phenomenon follows you wherever you go?
It either follows me wherever I go, or the phenomenon is just everywhere.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
And I'm 50-50 on that one.
That's interesting.
Everywhere I go is different. If something was following me, I should be having the same experiences everywhere I go. Everywhere I go is like where I live now, like something jumping on me while I'm sleeping. I sleep on an air mattress, and my air mattress at the time had a little leak, so it was kind of low. And I felt something jump on me, and the sides of the air mattress like folded up on me, and it could like push me down. And I felt like hands on my legs, and I woke up.
I'd move. I would definitely move.
But I wake up, I open my eyes real quick, and I see like almost like a smoke, like a cloud of smoke, but it was like small. But like, my mattress, the size kicked up, like I got pushed into my mattress, and like that's the kind of stuff I'm just like, it freaks me out for 10 seconds, and I just kind of forget about it and move on.
This is interesting. Mysteria Dragonheart says some of the orbs showed the face of the young man that committed suicide in the apartment. So the apartment you used to live in, somebody committed suicide in before you lived there?
That was what the investigators, what their research showed them. I don't know anything, documents or nothing, but that's what they claimed. And like I said, when they're in the bedroom, they left pretty fast. They left pretty fast.
Yeah, they didn't do like a big follow-up or anything, right? They came.
I stayed in contact with them, throughout this whole time, and still now. They're supposed to come back, but I ended up moving. It didn't happen. Because once they left, the activity actually picked up. That was when I started really seeing the faces, like the floating heads and stuff, is after they left. The next day, the day after they left too, I heard someone say my name, like very loud and very clear. And that's the second time that happened. And that's creepy.
Yeah. And some people in the live chat are suggesting maybe find a psychic, and others are asking, could this be all dreams? But you have these experiences while you're wide awake. Isn't that correct?
Yes. Yeah. I've seen shadow person standing over my bed with his arm reached out, look at me in fear, jump on the wall as a shadow, and run down my hallway as a shadow by me down the stairs and out of my house. 4:00 p.m. I just got home from work. I didn't even take my boots off yet. Like, there's so much stuff that happens that's iffy, but I don't share that stuff.
Yeah, and have you thought about like a priest blessing the house or trying to exercise whatever it is? Have you considered trying that to see if that would change?
I would, but I think that would only maybe fix part of the phenomenons going on. I think it's so many things intertwined.
Yeah, and what's interesting about your case is I once asked a very veteran sort of paranormal investigator, what does he think was behind the whole UFO thing? Is it really aliens? Is it interdimensional beings? Is it demons? Is it ghosts? And he said, based on my experience, I think it's all of the above. Which is crazy to think about, that it's all this stuff is connected, and you seem to be having all the above experiences, right?
Besides Bigfoot, yeah.
Yeah. If you see a Bigfoot next, we're both getting a TV deal, right?
That's like the last thing on my list, but yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. It is what it is.
Sightings on 18 Wheels says, does John hear any voices or whispering at random times? That's an excellent question.
3 times. I heard my name be called out twice.
And this is a strange question, but did you hear it in one ear or both ears?
One ear. It was in my right ear.
In your right ear.
Yeah. It was never both. Yeah. Also, in 2010, I was having an argument with my ex, and she was like flipping out I didn't do anything, of course, and she's just flipping out, losing her mind, and she leaves. And then I hear a voice above me, like from coming down from the ceiling, say, "Don't let her talk to you like that." Just like that. I feel weird even repeating it, because it was like God spoke from above, like the audio where it was coming from, like I heard it from above me. I didn't hear it in my head, or like, you know what I'm saying? Like when I heard the voice started talking, I looked right up to the ceiling, and that was the only 3 times. But they were very clear. Like there's no muffling of the words, or every time it was loud and clear. That was creepy.
You know, I asked if you're hearing in both ears because there are some mental conditions where people will hear voices just in their one ear, you know, which I always thought was bizarre, but who knows how these things work, right? These auditory hallucinations that you had, though, only occurred in your right ear. And that's something to sort of dig into. Like, why is it only in your right ear, not in both ears, right?
Well, when I heard the voice say, "Don't let her talk to you like that," that was both ears. That was loud. But when I hear my name spoke twice, it was in the right ear. And it was actually the one time I had headphones on that were turned off.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It was actually these headphones here. I was about to play Xbox. I didn't turn them on yet. They're off, but I had them on. I was looking at my phone, and all of a sudden I hear John in the right ear cup. I just froze. It froze there for like a couple seconds and just kept doing what I was doing.
I would ask again another strange question: is when you heard these voices, was that at a period where you were depressed or under high levels of stress, or just normal everyday life?
Just a regular day, just out of the blue, random.
And I also wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask you: is some of this perhaps the result of drugs? Are you into hallucinogens or other drugs, or no?
No, definitely not.
So none of this is drug induced, then, in your opinion? I mean, it's a fair question. You could be dropping. You could be eating a pound of mushrooms before you hear these voices.
I'm just laughing.
I don't know.
I'm just thinking about like someone taking acid and thinking they're being abducted by aliens. That's why I'm laughing. I'm trying to picture the actual scenario being played out, but no, not at all. Like I said, if there's anything I ever questioned, I would never speak about it or share it because I question it. If I don't know, if I don't feel confident about something, I'm not going to share it. So.
And is there any history? Is there any history of mental illness in your family, specifically things like schizophrenia or paranoid schizophrenia that you're aware of?
Not that I'm aware of. No one's said anything to me unless it's a family secret.
Yeah, and Ron says, please let John know every question or comment I say ask with the utmost respect. And I'm going to say ditto to that. You know, I don't mean any disrespect when I ask these questions.
No. I don't take any at all.
I'm trying to eliminate those possibilities. You know, I have a problem with people that just go right to this is paranormal. Like, I think you should really try your best to get through the other, let's say, more earthly, ordinary explanations for what may be happening here. Right?
I usually try to do that beforehand. Like, let's say, for example, that shadow person video. When I came home that day after work and saw that, I started thinking, like, what the hell could that be? So I go outside of my apartment door. I start shining lights under the door while I'm recording. I'm turning lights on in my apartment, and I'm not able to replicate the light that you see in the video or the shadow. You know, once I feel comfortable like that is when I'll share. But if I was home and I thought that could have been me, I would have never even spoke about it. So I try to do all that stuff myself, but I mean, nobody else knows I'm doing that. So yeah, definitely good questions, man. I don't mind answering any question. I'm all about the.
Yeah, well, that's one of the reasons I decided to have you, because I thought, like, he's not going to run away and cry for us grilling him a little bit,
No, and I should, like I said, I'm a skeptic when it comes to looking at other people's evidence, which I should not be at all. But I'm a skeptic. I ask the same questions.
Yeah.
Especially when I start hearing about like star children and like there are friends and all that kind of stuff is when.
Do you think if these are truly otherworldly entities that you're interacting with, do you think that they're friendly, or do they mean you any harm, or is this?
Well, I don't know if they're coming from other planets, I'm starting to lean towards like dimensional type stuff. The only reason I say that is because when I look at my evidence as a whole, I have a lot of evidence showing multiple faces or beings inside an orb. So I'm assuming it's possible orb could be a way of travel. These things are traveling around with each other, maybe from dimension to dimension. Maybe some are from other planets. I just think everything's from all over the place. I've seen too much shit to think it could just be aliens. Like, they could be from the future, they could be from another dimension, they could be from another planet, they could be from all three, they can be some from they can be coming like from the earth. Who knows? The possibilities are endless.
Oh, the grilling continues here. Rugged Source wants to know, was John ever diagnosed with narcolepsy type 2?
I don't even know what that is, but no.
That's a sleeping disease where you just suddenly fall asleep and sleep.
Shit. Yeah, I wish I could sleep. I have like the absolute reverse of that. Opposite is why I can't sleep ever.
Yeah. I
sleep like an hour at a time. Is my usual schedule.
This is a fair question. Unknown Sender wants to know, does John believe in a creator? Like, do you believe in God?
It's a good question. I would lean towards more of another being possibly creating us and being misinterpreted as gods. It's just to me that makes sense. That's what I believe. I have no proof or facts on that, but.
And 1Vin1, have you tried to interact with them? Which is a good question. Have you tried interacting with these things and communicating with them, talking to them at all?
I might have talked out loud a few times on camera to maybe see if I can get in contact with a spirit, maybe a handful of times, but that's it. I believe if I really want to contact, the beings I've seen in '95, I probably could. That's just a natural feeling I have. Because I remember there's one time where after that happened, it was almost like praying to God. I was like, I don't care what you guys do to me. I just don't want to see you guys anymore. Like, I was like actually like praying, like 15, like I just wanted this shit to stop right after that. I've never seen him again. So I wonder if they heard that or not, because I mean, I've probably been abducted so many times. I mean, there's things that have happened as far as like me being half asleep and feeling like being picked off my couch, and then being half asleep feeling like I'm being placed on my couch, but there's no evidence, nothing to that. So yeah, I mean, it could be from anywhere. Who knows?
And yeah, Ron from Cosmic Neighbors is asking, does he think the spirit energy is positive or negative? Do you get some sense if it's a negative entity or positive?
So, not really. A couple of times I sensed bad energy, and that was when I was getting ready to move out. Like when I left my apartment for a few weeks, and when I came back to get my stuff, when I walked in there, I felt negative energy, like big time. I felt like I walked right into it. But most of my evidence and stuff is all picked up because of night vision. I couldn't see that with the naked eye, so I'm not really reacting to that stuff. The stuff I have seen,
TZ with a
I don't
comment.
know, it's a lot.
I think it's lower astral stuff playing with him. That's bizarre, but it's a possibility, right?
This is what anything's possible. Just the evidence I collect, it just looks like it looks like something's there, right? I can't say for sure, but I have a picture, like it looks like a alien spirit, right? I can't say what that is, but the damn sure looks like alien to me, That's really as far as I can take it. I wish I can say for sure what this stuff is, but I think when you look at all my stuff in a whole, it's very much more compelling than looking at one photo.
Cosmic Neighbors is asking, and anybody that has questions for John, please put them in all capital letters. Remember, I'm visually impaired, and that helps me tremendously. Cosmic Neighbors is asking, This is a great question. Have you ever been drained of energy or felt sick during an experience?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head.
Well, I guess we could rule out energy vampires, right?
Yeah, I can't think of nothing off the top of my head.
And let me ask you, has the activity increased, decreased, or stayed the same since you moved to a new home?
It's steady. The only thing I would say at my last place is I was recording. That's the first time I recorded. So, but most of that stuff I couldn't see with my own eyes. So how do I know that hasn't been going on everywhere else I've been? It's a real head scratcher. Or was it just my place? Well, I know it's not just my place, but I mean as far as the phenomenon on camera. Because where I'm at now, I'm not able to record. I have to wait till I move from here to set everything back up again. And when I do that, it's going to be, I'm going all out. Like, I'm going to make my place into a literal, like, experiment. Putting cameras everywhere. I mean, because my thing is, like,
honestly, this would drive me nuts to the point that I would do that too, just to try to figure out what was happening and
because
what it was, right?
I know it's there now. I can't, like, unknow. Like, then I feel like there's stuff going on around me that I can't see, because it's crazy. So, like, my next place is going to be set up. I think I have a good opportunity to possibly get real good, undeniable footage. I believe I have some now, but I know it's questionable still. But
Well, it's good that you're keeping an open mind and you're not getting you're staying humble. You're not getting all arrogant, like I've got the proof of aliens right here on tape, or some people get a little too amped up, right?
No, yeah, because it's clear, but it's not like 100% clear. Like, you can see it, but it's not like in your face. It's like, it's weird the way the stuff like shows itself. They hug the line. Like,
I liked your videos and your stills, but to me, some of it does seem like, well, this is kind of open to interpretation, because I know a lot of Catholics that would look at that and say that's a demon, and other people are saying no, that's an alien. It's kind of open to our own cultural lenses. Does that make sense? Like, if somebody was raised as a strict Catholic and they start seeing this stuff, they'd say demons.
I think it's all the same. It's just different wording, pretty much. I think everybody's trying to explain the same thing, but they're using different language. Like, demons, aliens, at one point in history, they all could have meant the same thing,
Yeah, people used to see fairies and woodland spirits, and now they see aliens. Rugged Source with a good question. This is sort of like the red pill, blue pill. Can you if you could put this all back, the toothpaste back in the tube, so to speak, if you could take back your experiences to where they never occurred, would you?
Yeah.
You would just
100%
wipe it away, right?
Yeah.
It's the curiosity of what's going on here has got to it would drive me nuts. It would drive me nuts.
It's just like that. Like, it ruined part of my life for a long time, Like, I had like bad PTSD. Like, I would like lock myself in an apartment where like all windows and doors locked, walking around with a knife, just like expecting something to come, Like, it got pretty bad at one point.
Yeah, well, this leads to another great question. 1Vin1 asks, do you feel the beings with you outside your home?
I did for sure one time. And this was probably 2 years ago at work. There was something like watching me while I was working. It was the most messed up feeling. Like, I felt it deep inside. Like, and every time I remember I closed, like, blink my eyes, I would see like the face of a being. Every time I blinked, this shit went on for like 2 hours at work. And I eventually went home. I took the truck home. I told him I was sick and I left.
Oh.
It was like, that kind of stuff is what bothers me, because there's no proof of it. There's no way to show that it happened. It's just, my words. But I can tell you that day I felt sick, because I just knew. And we're working in this like multi-million-dollar house. I don't know if you're familiar with Doylestown. It was like out towards Doylestown, but in the farm area, so it's all open.
Yeah, my cousins live there. That's an interesting area. Sure.
And like all like the tree lines, I just swore there's like eyes on me. I kept seeing the face every time I blinked. That was one time for sure. I'll say outside of work, something was messing with me.
Yeah, B. Baker says, wow, that's interesting. And it was such a profound experience. You had to like make up an excuse and get out of there, right?
Yeah, I was sitting in a porta john doing everything. Like I didn't even want to be. I didn't want to be near anybody because I didn't even know what my facial expression looked like. Because I was trying to compose myself and like, lay cinder block. But I keep seeing aliens in my face and like, it's a crazy day.
UFO John Doe with another excellent question. Have you ever asked it to simply leave you alone?
Yeah, I have when I was younger. Yeah.
I guess they didn't listen if they're still bugging you, right?
Yeah, but I don't see them. I don't see much anymore, which is good. Like I said, I don't mind waking up with a bunch of holes in my arm if I don't have to remember seeing them. I'll take that any day of the week.
Yeah, and somebody's asking, have you sought medical help due to the stressful events? So have you ever talked to a medical or a mental health professional about what's happening to you at all?
No. What am I going to say to them? It's like I can't go into deep and
no, I'm with
issues,
you. I
know
don't.
what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
I don't know that would be helpful, right? Because they're not trained to deal with that kind of stuff. If it is something truly paranormal or otherworldly.
I mean, honestly, like who really is? This ufology is like so messed up. There's like really nowhere to go anymore with confidence and look for help.
Well, there is several experience or support networks. One of them comes to mind that's headquartered in Canada, but they have members all over the world, and I can put you in touch with them. And I would like to follow up with you and maybe bring some equipment and see if there's any strange anomalies around you, or some sort of. I have equipment we can check for EVPs. We can film. We can try some things. If you're willing to do that, we can do something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be able to do it where I'm at now, but in a couple months, time, we can definitely do something. I just, my whole thing with all this is I feel like I have an opportunity to get some real good, solid evidence at some point. I'm getting something. It's not what everyone wants. It's not that, that one picture that's just going to prove everything to the world. I'm not going to get nothing like that, but I feel like I'm getting closer. And I think the one way that will help me is equipment, which is ridiculously expensive.
Yeah, I have some, so I know.
Dude,
yeah.
I was looking at some cameras are like $5,000 a piece, and like, because I learned, like, I started off with a basic. I used a Wise V2 camera originally, then I upgraded towards the end to a Wise V3 that had better picture quality, and I realized the better the camera, like, it was less pixelated, and I started to get more clearer pictures towards the end. So I'm thinking, give me a more of expensive camera, I can give you the same results, but clearer image.
Yeah, I mean, some of this stuff makes me wonder, though, if some of it isn't camera artifacts. Like, that's another good question. When you see these orbs and you're filming them, are you just filming them, or have you seen them with your naked eye and filmed them at the same time?
I've rarely seen orbs. Couple a year. Like, I rarely see them by eye. Yeah.
So you're seeing them mostly through cameras?
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. So I would be curious too about what camera artifacts, maybe, honestly, if I was filming at your location, I would film with 5 different cameras to see if we see virtually the same thing on all 5 different cameras, different manufacturers, different lenses, because sometimes people capture things on camera and it's camera artifacts, or the image sensor picks up light in certain ways that may be interpreted as shadows or shadow beings. And I hate to be so skeptical, but I don't like to jump right to demons and aliens unless I can't explain it another way, right?
Yeah,
I like to
I
eliminate
got
the
you.
possibilities.
But this is my thing. Let's say you take 20 of my pictures and you find one, that have the issues with the camera causing the images, right? So then how do you explain the rest of them? You have to kind of go like down the line and almost debunk everything, in my opinion, just because I think there's so much. Like I probably shared half with you. So I understand it's a possibility, and I would bet to say some that could be a reason why you're getting the images, but there's still the some that see. I think the ones that look like the shadow person video and the ones that are real clear, they make the other ones more credible. That might not be as clear as the rest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I don't know. Sometimes orbs to me is kind of a weird situation, because I have seen some footage of orbs that was like pretty convincing, and then other times I'm like, nah, it's dust, or it's particles in the air, or raindrops. I saw one person claim they filmed something and they claimed that it was orbs, and really it was rain and a blurry camera. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that you can understand some people's skepticism, especially about things that are sort of open to interpretation, like the orbs. But you say you've seen there's faces in the orbs, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's
and,
that is
and
bizarre.
multiple. Like there's one orb that has at least 5 faces in the orb, and when I zoomed in, it's so clear, and it's just amazing. And that's when I started getting the idea that orbs could be a form of transportation, possibly. Because how do you get 5, 6, 7 faces into one orb if they're not going, if they're not leaving and going to the same place together, right? Because they pop in and then they travel across the room and pop out. So yeah,
Yeah,
the ones with the faces I started seeing towards the end, and then I went back all the way to the beginning to my original footage and worked my way through again with what I learned, and I started seeing the faces and more orbs, alien faces, human faces. Some are just human heads just flying across the camera, you know.
yeah, that is bizarre. That is
And I would
bizarre.
I would love to get my footage into like a professional's hands if they want to try to break it down, analyze it, do whatever they want to do to it. Because with every screenshot, I have the video footage from the camera, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, maybe an image analyst or somebody could look through it and offer their opinion about what it is that we're seeing.
Mm-hmm.
And other people are asking about the shadow being footage and stuff like that, but I guess you're gonna get that to me, and we can look at that another time.
Well, it's in the footage of that video that you already have. If you want to pull it up,
Oh yeah, we'll play that again. Absolutely. Let me get to that again. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna
I'm gonna,
answer Bobby Broadway's question down here real quick. Um, yeah, dust in the human dander, indoors, outdoor pollen. That's definitely something that could be picked up on cameras as looking like orbs. But that's why I went out and bought a HEPA filter and put it in that room to cancel that out. Um, it's funny because once I put the filter in, it seems like the orb activity almost picked up a little bit. Like they're flying around. They're
like, oh
flying around the
no.
filter. Like if I have like tons of orbs flying through a room when there's a HEPA filter in the room that's been running for weeks, either that HEPA filter is completely broken or it's not dust flying around.
Yeah, let me get this video. We'll share this again, and
Yeah.
if you can sort of tour guide us through what it is that we're seeing on the screen.
Okay.
And these are stills from your videos.
Yes. Like this face is really creepy. Like right here, the face on the right.
Yeah, that is a little strange, right?
The horn, yeah. And that was an orb. The orb was flying up the wall, and for one, this is the photo with all the faces in it. I don't know if everybody can see individual faces, but there's one big one on the bottom. There's one above it. There's one to the right
Yeah,
of it.
I definitely see some weird. There's a face here. There's a
Yeah.
face here. To
Now,
me, the face here on the edge.
this face on the bottom, looking to the left, you see the chin on the bottom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Jawline.
that is bizarre. But where was this actually filmed? Like, what is that? A wall or?
That's a extremely zoomed in photo of an orb. This black thing behind it is my computer chair. So okay. I zoomed all the way in. I put a filter on it, and then I just added a thing to zoom in. But yeah, this one human face, like looking straight ahead, is creepy. Like, you know, I have a video of that thing flying across my living room. To me, it's hard to deny that one. I think that's a pretty good one.
This one here?
No, one before it.
Yeah, the one before it. But this one
just looks like a face looking to the right, like down to the right. I don't know if you can see that.
Maybe. To me, this one looks sort of blobby. Like a blob.
That's like an iffy one, yeah.
Yeah.
But when I look at it, I clearly see a face, but I can understand how somebody else wouldn't.
Yeah, some people might look at it and see something not so extraordinary, right? Like it looks like a cloud or a blob. Right. Or
this is the video. So you see the he ran right behind the couch.
Yeah, so this right over here. Yeah.
This light opens up. So I'm not home. I don't even know where this light is coming from, but the light appears. You see a short shadow run across, and then it peeks out behind the couch as a larger one.
We'll see that again, and this is, of course, in the lower right or in the middle right of the frame. We see something.
Yeah.
There. Yeah. Well,
and this is the facings. The light's crazy because to me it looks like something's running out of a light portal.
Do you have any pets or a dog or something that could have made a shadow on the wall? No.
Nope. Well, you can see when it peeks its head up, you can see the shoulders in the head. That's a creepy video. This is a still from outside. This was a head that was just in the middle of the sky while I was recording.
Well, that one I would say could be a cloud though, right? And here we have the orbs again.
Yes. But I also do have the HEPA filter on the right side of my couch. That big black thing on the table. Yeah,
I see that. I know those. Yeah.
So I mean, if that's dust, the filter is not doing its job. But I used to clean the filter every few days just to make sure. Because at this time, I was trying to run an experiment. I was going to do different control tests to try to figure out what this was, and I never completed it. But that was why I bought the filter.
Yeah, and if it is dust, it seems to be an awful lot of it, you know?
Yeah. And only when I leave. Like, after 7 a.m., this won't happen the rest of the day till the next morning. It's a very isolated time window. It's crazy. And it only happened. I used to sleep on the couch because I don't like sleeping in the bedrooms. And as soon as I wake up.
Here's another face. There's another face that is appearing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one thing I'll say about the orbs is it's pretty clear that that's not like bugs or something. Because
no, that'd be gross.
Well, no, somebody sent me a video before. Like, look, I'm capturing orbs in my house, and it was very clear to me that it was literal flies that they were capturing. You know, blurry flies. But this doesn't appear to be that. It appears to be, you know, it has some shape to it at least. And this is another image that appeared on the ceiling. And what is this that we're looking at here?
So this is a video from 2 Christmases ago. This is, I believe my friend put a filter on this. This was originally in night vision, but he put like an orange filter. So this is a beam of light coming from the ground, which looks like there could be something at the bottom next to the van. It looks interesting to me.
Well, that's definitely interesting. And you saw this with your eyes too, or just the camera?
No, this is the same thing. Camera. I just stuck it outside the window that morning and just turned it on. And this is one of the most amazing videos I have. This whole video of Christmas morning.
I'd be interested in seeing the video.
There's a bunch of rods, and so this looks like could be an alien figure. I'm definitely not saying that's what it is, but to me, it's compelling enough to share, considering everything else I have.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. This is and again, these are the marks that you say appear on you the morning after abductions, right?
Well, I wake up with these marks in the morning that I didn't have the night before, and I am assuming they have something to do with abductions. That was some material I woke up with on my hand.
Did you save a sample of it? Material.
No, everybody asked me this. This was, I wiped this off. At the time, I took a picture because I wasn't sure. It was weird. It was like almost like a Vaseline with like a sandy material in the middle. I just wiped it off. I wasn't even thinking about saving it at the time, but I did think enough about it to take a picture. And this with also the next picture all happened within a week. Now this one, I wiped off the prior 3 mornings. I woke up with a green.
And what is that? Is it like slime or what is that? And you didn't think to save it?
Well, I woke up and there would be like a green slimy thing towards the tip of my finger, and then that black oily residue would come from the tip of my finger where the green thing was and kind of travel all the way down my finger. Now that happened 4 days in a row.
That's bizarre.
This was the fourth day, but the green ball wasn't there that morning. It was just the oily residue. But at that point, I'm like, okay, I have to at least take a picture, because the first 3 times I woke up, I'm like, what the hell is that? And just wiped it off. But after a couple mornings, it happened 4 mornings in a row, 4 or 5 mornings, and it's never happened again. It never happened before that.
And you didn't save a sample of the residue?
I didn't think about it.
Wow. I would love to analyze that and see what it is.
I mean, if it happens again, I will. But like I said, this stuff is like one and done.
Yeah.
And I had people tell me these things are these pictures here are skin diseases, or they're bed bugs, or I'm scratching myself.
Just going to ask you if you had your bed checked for bed bugs or other dust mites or other parasitic insects, because I listen. I understand that what you believe it is, but I'd like to eliminate. I mean, I know a doctor that's a dermatologist. I can have them look at these and offer their opinion about what it is, but it's kind of, after the fact, just looking at pictures, kind of difficult. Yeah. And this is more orb footage, right?
Yes. You can see I got the filter to the right of the couch.
And listen, I appreciate that you took the time to get a HEPA filter to try to eliminate the fact that it could be dust particles, but I'm sure you're aware that a HEPA filter doesn't eliminate all dust in the room or the air in the room, right? You could open a door and dust could fly in the room, or a window and dust from outside could fly in.
Well, no.
And listen, I'm not saying it's dust. Yes. I just want to eliminate,
if you open the door, of course, dust and pollen is going to get in. But if you don't do that, it should eliminate 99.9% of anything in the air.
Well, that looks like the Joker or something. Or Ghost Rider. Do you know Ghost Rider? It looks like a skull and a hair on fire. This
is another good example. It was just an orb flying by the plant, and just for that one frame, it turned into that, and then the next frame is back to an orb continuing on its path.
That is bizarre.
This one, I think, has a face in it. This is from actually one of the videos we just watched. Looks like there's a face on the left-hand side.
I'm not seeing it. But in your defense, I'm half blind almost. So
it looks like a side. There should be another zoomed in one, I think.
Yeah, well, no? I paused it.
Let's see. There we go. It looks like a side profile of like Thanos or something looking to the left. Once I can't unsee it. I don't know if anybody else can see it, but that's what I see.
It. Yeah, here I can kind of see what appears to be a face. And you say these are orbs, but you capture one frame of it, right?
Yeah, and sometimes the orbs will spin as they're going by, and as they spin, like each side will have a different face. Like there's some that have like an alien face and a human face inside of one orb. It's pretty cool.
This one,
and this is what I believe to be a face of a woman.
Sorry. There we go. And you believe this is a face of a woman?
Yes. but it's more clear if you watch the video and watch her face just fly across the camera, you know.
Well, interesting stuff, and probably worthy of further investigation. You know, it's kind of hard to tell from some of the stuff that you have. I would be interested in getting more of the footage, the actual footage. And I'm not a professional image analyst, but you know, I have a lifetime of video editing, and I can zoom things and freeze frame and see if I can pull anything else out of some of the materials that you have. Would you be interested in doing that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I appreciate how you say you're not like a image analyst, because some of these people think they are.
Oh no, I tell people the truth. Like, you know, once we had somebody with EVPs, and I'm not a. I ran a recording studio though, and I think that qualifies me to take somebody's audio, clean it up, you know, pump up the volume, noise filter it, or what, you know, whatever. And I was amazed at what I pulled out of what this person recorded, you know. But I told them I'm not a professional audio analyst, you know.
Yeah, we got some people who think, you know, they know everything, and they'll just flat out say that's dust, and it's like case closed, move on to the next thing, we're done with that, you know.
I have to punch Cosmic Neighbors in the face. He's making fun of me because it's because of him, John, that I decided I'm going to get into 3D printing. And he gave me a very simple printer that printed little stuff, but it worked. Then I decided I was going to get a huge one. And that thing hasn't worked right in a month since I got it. I've been pulling my hair out and cursing at Cosmic Neighbors. And by the way, Ron, it still doesn't work. It is like kind of working, but it's screwing up every print. So I don't know what I need to do. You know, and Mysterious says, I need to get together with you both. I have timestamps that need further investigation. The headlamp orbs. Yeah, email me at truthseekershow@gmail.com. If you email me at truthseekershow@gmail.com, or message me on Facebook, or you could follow me on Twitter at Stephen Cambion. You'd save me a lot of time giving me timestamps and stuff like that, because then I'll know here's an anomaly at this timestamp, and I'll be able to pull it up. I would love to dig into the videos and see what I can pull up and find out. And here's my email address there. Thank you, Mysteria.
She put in a lot of work doing that too. I mean, there is some videos that got close to like 500 orbs, and we're trying to document each one, you know, the time it appeared, the time it left. Because I was trying to put I was working with somebody in Texas who's a biologist, and we're actually working on doing a legit project. He was going to try to get it published. Like, it was going to be like, you know, something legit to see. We're going to try to debunk what we're capturing, you know, do an experiment. And she was counting the orbs, and like somehow like 500, which is crazy, within like 10 minutes. So she's seen everything.
Interesting. Well, listen, you're not far from me. You're almost a neighbor of mine and a fellow Philly native. So, you know, let's follow up off air, and we'll plan to try to, you know, I have some other friends that may be interested in looking at some of your material. We'll put together a whole thing, and we'll try to bring something, you know, some sort of consensus over what you're capturing. It's interesting enough that I want to look more into it and study the videos and see what I see, you know, because, and again, I mean this with all due respect, but like when somebody shows me something and then tells me what's in it, I'd rather look at the raw video and then decide what I see there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
definitely. You know, dude, my main, if I had to say I had like a mission, my main mission would be right now is I think I have an opportunity to keep recording in the future and capture some stuff maybe no one's ever captured before.
Yeah, Mike has a very good point. He says, has he filmed dust to compare? If he hasn't, I will. I'll bring some dust with me.
I used to I collected dust in a Ziploc for like a couple months, and like I try to throw it in a fan to record it, and it just looked like dust in the air. It was nothing like you
Nothing like
I
what
was capturing.
the other
And
ones you're capturing.
a lot of the dust kind of went in the same motion. It's kind of the same direction. There wasn't dust coming from every which way. Yeah, I was into trying to debunk that stuff for a while because I was on a kick on trying to prove to people that it was real, like my footage was real. I kind of gave up on that. It's not a really good approach to have. There's people that aren't going to be convinced, and there's always a possibility I could be wrong. So I just like to record stuff, put it out for people to look at, and just keep.
No,
keep at
I that's one of the reasons that I'm interested in your case is because you're open to the possibility that you could be wrong and your interpretation may be wrong. Some people are just, they do research by proclamation. They're like, no, it's definitely aliens, or it's definitely this, or definitely that. And I found you to be a little more open-minded and go, hey, if you know what this is, you tell me, because it's good to be a little more open-minded and humble about it. Like, let's look at it together and figure something out, right?
Yeah, and I'm not after nothing either. Like, I'm not trying to build a channel, or I'm not trying to get any book deals or get into that UFO cash.
Well, that's good, because we don't have any to share with you, John. I got barely any money here,
I'm just trying to present people with pretty compelling evidence of some wild stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely wild, and it was fun just imagining the possibilities of what it is that may be happening to you, and look at some of this stuff that you have captured. So, and I want to echo the sentiment of many people in our live chat who are all thanking you for having the courage to come and share your experiences, so we could all take a gander, right? Everybody's got that curiosity, like, well, what is this stuff? I appreciate you being here.
Yeah, it was had a good time, man. It was a good show.
Okay.
Haven't been on a show in a while. It's been probably almost a year. I kind of quit for a while.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah. Well, listen, I'll talk to you off air, and I will definitely follow up with you. You're only like 25 minutes away from me. I got some bags full of gear. He's not going to like this. I'm going to descend on his house, and I'll have wires everywhere, and we'll have 7 cameras and stuff.
That's exactly what I want. I want all the equipment I can possibly get my hands on.
Oh, I got a lot of stuff, man. I got a lot of stuff. Yeah.
And I know some paranormal investigators, they got tons of equipment too, and they got evidence on their own when they came over. So that made me happy when they got their own evidence.
Yeah, I want to take a look at what they captured as well. We're going to do a full court press then if we can, and I want to see everything. And we'll be able to make an edited video. Here's the other evidence that they had before I came, and here's what I captured if we capture anything, and we'll see what we can do. I'd be interested in doing that.
Awesome.
Okay, well, I'm going to throw you on out of here then. I appreciate your time. I'll talk to you off air.
All right, thanks. Had a good time, man. Appreciate it.
Don't be a stranger, John. You're always welcome. Good night. All right, friends. Well, we'll call this part 1 then. I'm interested enough that I would, especially because he's so close. Like, if he lived in California, what can I tell you? I'm not going to drive to California to look into this. But since he's so close and appears to be, here's the other thing. Some people capture strange phenomenon, but it's so infrequent. And in other words, like, 6 months ago, I captured a shadow on a camera. Well, I'm not interested in spending a year at somebody's house, but if he is capturing things as often as I believe he is, then maybe it would be worth it for us to go, especially during this times and periods of high activity. He seems to know that there's a period of high activity between 5 and 7 a.m., I think he said. I would focus on those times and that sort of window to see what we can capture. And also, I do have a lot of equipment I never use. I got a bunch of ghost hunting equipment, magnetometers, and, I got a Geiger counter even, and radiation stuff and other things. We will bring those things to bear to see if we can shed some light on what it is he may be experiencing. And again, I'm real big on trying to eliminate all other possibilities before going to the paranormal explanation for things. So if you want to see that happen, let us know in the comments here. So I'm going to do something real quick and check in with our super chats, and I also have to check in. We thank every single person that sends a super chat. We thank every person that sends a pledge by Patreon, or I'm sorry, pledge by PayPal or Cash App. Instructions to do that are in the description of the video. And we thank each and every one of you who is helping with throwing a couple of bucks in our hat to help keep things rolling on here. I'm going to check in first with our super chats here. Let's see here. Okay, so we don't have any of those. Let's check with the PayPal. And I know we had a Cash App, so I have to check my email for that. You guys will have to excuse me. I'm trying to set up for alerts to be on my phone, and then I realized I don't have my phone. It's in the other room in the office, original studio here. 1 second here. So I want to thank Andy Gambino for a kind and generous $11.44 PayPal pledge. Thank you for your kindness, your generosity, and your support, Andy Gambino. Much, much appreciated. And I want to thank John for a kind and generous $5. Andy sent no message, but John said, let's see, what did John say? To get to this message here. You are the hardest working man in UFO stand. Well, thank you for your kindness, your generosity, and your support. It is much, much appreciated. And we will check in with our Cash App. And again, instructions, if you're feeling generous, instructions to help us out is back into the, geez, man, I'm having so many. That's weird. 1 second. I just got to get into my email. If it lets me. Yeah. I want to thank Greg, who on Cash App sent us a kind and generous $10 Cash App. Thank you for your kindness, your generosity, and your support. Oh, and we've got Rogue Status with a kind and generous $2 super chat who says, good Lord, another one. Well, thank you, Rogue Status. And by the way, on my Facebook, there are some pictures of the sunroom. Still not done. Almost done. I keep saying it's almost done. I got to paint a door. I have to throw some more epoxy down on the floor, but I have started moving furniture. I put up a couple paintings, and I put a Buddha statue and a little altar and a meditation area right in the sunroom. So thank you, Rogue Status. For those that don't know, Rogue Status is an electrician, and he heard me live on air bitching about the fact that I hate wiring and it takes me so long and I'm terrible at it. And even if I do it, like, for example, I wired the living room at the cabin, and I put 4 outlets in, and 2 of them stopped working, and I got to fix that. Rogue Status very kind and generously said, I live right near you. I'll go up there with you, and I'll wire the whole new room. And he did. And to his credit, all the outlets he put in work. So thank you, Rogue Status. He's the first winner on Come to My Cabin, I'll Put You to Work sweepstakes, right? Thanks, Rogue Status. Very much appreciate it. UFO John Doe says, remember, Stephen, the power of Christ compels you. Well, thank you for your kindness, your generosity, and your support. And I promise you tonight, I'm going to send you the link to my video about what happened to me. It's really audio. It's from my old audio podcast, but it's still there I think it's still there for Patreon supporters, but I'm going to send you the direct link because I don't think you want to go through like 60 listen to 60 shows trying to find the one, right? I'll be able to find it. I will send you the link. Thank you for your kindness, your generosity, and your support. And we thank all of our kind and generous supporters who are always around, folks, to help us to praise the cash, friends.
Praise
So we did get some new Trixie bumpers, and I've got some new Cash Clown bumpers, but I have to do a little bit more work to them. We'll be debuting those soon. Also, want to remind all of you, if you're listening in audio podcast land, we love and appreciate you, but you're missing half the fun. So please do go on over to YouTube, hit that search bar, the little magnifying glass, put Truth Seekers, one word, Truth Seekers, one word. Look for me, the strange guy with sunglasses. You'll find our channel very easily. If you put Truth Seekers, one word, you got to do it with one word. We're the first search result on YouTube. Go to our channel, smash the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and you too will know when we're doing a live taping of the podcast here at our home base on YouTube. And you can come here and be a part of our live interactive chats. You can ask our guests questions while you're in the live chat. We have a very interactive experience here. And while we appreciate you in audio podcast land, you're listening to a recording of the live show. We would much prefer you come here for the live tapings. Don't just listen to the show. Don't just watch the show. Come here and be a part of the show. Also wanted to mention you could follow me on Twitter at Stephen Cambian. A lot of people are telling me they don't get the YouTube notices, and I don't know what goes on with that. There's nothing I can do except tell you, follow me on Twitter at Stephen Cambian. I post each and every show before they happen. Sometimes not very, sometimes I post them late, but we post on Twitter every time there's going to be a live show happening. Try to post it a few hours early. Give people the heads up. Follow me at Stephen Cambian on Twitter. You can also go to our Facebook page, Truth Seekers on Facebook, and the link to that is in the description of this video as well. So also want to remind everybody that tonight at midnight, thanks to Spooky, we have a video called A Message to Stephen Greenstreet that I think will be of interest to you if you're interested in UFOs. And if you watch The Basement Office, I'm not going to spill the beans here, but, Stephen Greenstreet does amazing work, but he's got a real problem now because he's going after Lou Elizondo and other people for being fakes, frauds, embellishers, lying about their background, lying about running a UFO program. But there's a real problem with that based on who his partner for his show, The Basement Office, has been and apparently will continue to be. And I really hope that he reconsiders his present course because you lose a lot of credibility when you give passes, right? We don't give passes here. If somebody is lying, we're going to ask them about it. If there is substantial and supportive evidence that they lied about their background or their job or their military experience or their education, we ask them. No, so I will tell you right now, and I can say this with a high degree of confidence, almost no other show holds these UFO celebrities' feet to the fire like we do. We truly hold them accountable. If they're selling a fake alien picture as a genuine, real picture of an alien, we bust their balls about it. If somebody lied and said they ran a UFO program for the government, we reveal that here. No other UFO show does this, and there's a lot of reasons for that, but I've discussed this briefly before. One of the main reasons that all these other UFO shows are UFO circle jerkers is because they don't address the elephant in the room, and we have no problem doing that. One of the reasons is I don't work UFO conferences. I don't have to be nice to these people. I don't have to, so many of these guys are like, well, you can't go after so-and-so because they work the UFO conferences. I don't care. I don't work UFO conferences. By the way, the money's shit anyway, unless you're a huge name. If you're on Ancient Aliens, great. You'll get $1,000 or $1,500 to talk for 2 hours at a UFO conference. But if you're somebody like me, it's a couple $100, and I'm not paying hotel and airfare to go talk about UFOs at some dorky UFO conference. I don't care. And the reason that we can be honest with people here largely is because I don't work UFO conferences. I don't have to be nice to so-and-so. I don't have to keep my mouth shut to keep the peace, so I keep getting bookings with them at UFO conferences. I don't care. We have zero filter here, and we don't give passes. But apparently, almost everybody does. Almost everybody plays the game. I'm going to go after this guy because he's faking. He's a fraud. He lied. While I'm okay with other people who are fakes, frauds, and liars because I gave them a pass. I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. No passes. We don't give any passes here. No passes. Occasionally I'm a little too nice to somebody that I should, and I get it. Some of you guys are vicious. You're like, go after them, slam them, right? But I have found that in my newfound sobriety, I'm a little kinder and gentler. And I hope that continues. You don't have to be mean to these people, but I think it's very important to hold their feet to the fire, to say you're selling fake shit to gullible people, to say you are deceptively profiting from bullshit. We're one of the only shows that does that. And you will find that there are some shows that say they do that, but then they give the pass. Some people, some guys running UFO shows right now are giving a pass the third phase of moon. And you know what? Those guys are the biggest frauds, liars, fakers in this entire thing and have been since they started. They say they're changing. They haven't changed one bit. Just recently, we proved they fake shit in February. They fake shit in March. They faked things in April and I think May. So we got them. The talking points they give to the shows that they're helping. By the way, did you know that there's this whole thing like, well, if you just keep your mouth shut about all the fake UFO videos we've been putting out for years, we'll have you on our show, or we'll share some of your show so that you can pull from our subscriber base. And we've got hundreds of thousands of subscribers. So you're going to do so much better if you just keep your mouth shut. And Third Phase tries to pay people off. They offered me some shitty deal. It was a terrible deal. They thought, listen, I'm okay with somebody being a whore. If you're going to be a whore, though, you better be a high-priced, expensive whore. And I'm here to tell you, anybody that wants to pay me off and make me a whore, that's fine. But I am an expensive whore. I'm not going cheap. You're not bribing me off cheap. Trying to give me some spec deal. Like, oh, you can contribute to this documentary we're making, and then everybody will split the YouTube ad money. I'm not chasing around the Cousins brothers for YouTube pennies for the rest of my life. Do I really think they're just going to pay me every month? No. So some UFO shows are giving Third Phase of Moon a pass. And those guys, they can't be trusted. They go after other people. Oh, this guy's a fraud. This guy's a fraud. This guy's a fraud while they're working for Third Phase of Moon or while they're working with. I'm aware that there are many up and coming shows about UFOs and the paranormal. And this Third Phase tries to buy them all, cozy up to them, get them to just shut up about our fakery, fraudery. That's why their fakery, fraudery, and bullshittery continues, because I'm a sole one voice here. And sometimes one voice is simply not enough to get the job done and to erase those idiots from our thing here, right? Imagine if 4 or 5 different show hosts all stood up with me and said, those guys are frauds, they're fakers, they should lose their YouTube channel for deceptive practices. You know, deceptive things like finding a video that's even labeled space debris coming down and taking that video, putting it on their channel and standing there acting like it's a UFO. Look, this strange and mysterious UFO that appeared in the sky. We can see the wings in one portion of the video. They knew it was space debris because we found, well, I didn't find it. Astral Citizens found it, but still, people found where they took the video from. They knew it was fake. They knew it was fraud, what they did. They knew it was space debris. And they put it up on their channel and pretended it was a UFO. I have no more patience and no more passes for frauds, liars, and people that would do that, right? But I see why they do it. Look at their videos. They can average $500 per YouTube video in money made. So they can just fake things. And even though that's against YouTube's terms of service, they could lose their whole channel. They could lose their whole channel for doing that, for knowingly taking something that's not a UFO, putting it on their channel and pretending it's a UFO. They could lose their entire channel. And to be honest with you, I think they should, because they shouldn't be making $500 a video when they knowingly put up things saying it's a UFO that's already been identified. All right, where's my cool here? And, you know, I'm not even sure. Like, I'm not pissed off at them. They got a great con going. It's a great con. $500 a video to put up a fake UFO and pretend that it's a UFO. That's great. $500. You know, we're lucky to make that in a month here from YouTube. Not that I'm complaining. We take our pennies and we roll on with our lives, right? Luckily for me, I don't need to fake shit to make money. And I don't need to lick the assholes of people like Third Phase that fake shit to make money, right? And what kind of a person sucks up to Third Phase of Moon knowing that they do these things? What kind of a person makes excuses for them doing that? A shitty person. That's who does that. We don't need to do that here. Somebody in the live chat earlier commented that I cut my hair. Yes, I did. And I'm happy. I'll give her a shout out. Thank you, Lily. I finally found somebody in my local area that knows how to cut hair. The last haircut I got was horrific. It was terrible. And, you know, one thing I'll never get used to here being in the suburbs is maybe I'm cheap. Maybe it's inflation. But where I'm from, a haircut is $10. Around here, it's $30. Wow. That's quite an increase. But, you know, if it's a good haircut, I don't mind. But I mind when I pay the $30 and the haircut is terrible, right? The last girl, she cut it in the back all weird, and there was like stragglers hanging all the way down to the back of my neck. It was so weird. I wanted to get a pair of scissors and cut the rest off like she did half the haircut and just got bored and said, that's good enough. I don't know. So tonight at midnight, see, I got so off track. Sorry. Tonight at midnight, we are going to have a live premiere. It's only I think it's a 6 or 7 minute video, but we put a 5-minute premiere so we can chat. Also invite you to join our Discord, where you can not only chat with our friends here while we're doing live shows, but 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I'm in the Discord every day. You can direct message me there. It's a good place to contact me. You can also email me at truthseekershow@gmail.com. I try to reply to everybody, but things are getting a little busy. So if you don't hear back from me, just email me again. Remind me you emailed me before, and I will be sure to get back to you. I think, yeah, that's really all I got for you tonight, friends. But we will be continuing with some sort of investigation into Ricanhavoc's claims and his experiences. I'd like to learn more, and I'm interested enough, especially because he's so close to me. We'll follow up, and we'll let you know what we find. Maybe we'll make a video about me going there and filming myself to see what I see. I'm very interested in seeing what I see. I'm not very interested in him telling me what I'm supposed to see, you know, because I think that pareidolia is definitely at play here a little bit, or could be, and we want to eliminate that as a possibility. Yeah. So what else can I tell you? Also, tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You guys know I am not a morning person, right? No way am I a morning person. But and for some people, I'll do it. And I know 1 p.m. Eastern is not morning, but I have to get up in the morning and get ready to do the interview. So 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. Tomorrow is July 21st. Tomorrow we will be interviewing Philip Mantle, who you may recognize the name. He's from Flying Disc Press. He's got an excellent book, which I just read, on the alien autopsy hoax, revealing everything about that. Just a great read. He also has a newer book. UFO landings in the UK. He's across the pond in Great Britain there, you know, in England. Great guy, very knowledgeable, and very dogged author and researcher. Like, he really digs in, and I love it. So tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'll be interviewing him right here, same bat channel, different time. 1 p.m. Eastern is pretty rare for us, but like, because of the time change, we have to do that to accommodate certain guests. He's one of the people I'm more than willing to do that for. So join us. You can join us tonight at midnight Eastern Standard Time for the premiere of our production video, courtesy of Spooky. I had nothing to do with it. I just talked about some things. Spooky took it and made it art. It's beautiful. So midnight tonight Eastern Standard Time, you can join us for that. And tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our interview with Philip Mantle. And I will also be doing a couple of shows this weekend. There's a few things going on, and I don't feel good, checking out for the week until I get a few more things off my chest. And you're going to want to see those shows. We've got a show on Corey Good's latest updates and coming, and we've also got a show on Linda Moulton Howe and her latest fake alien picture and the lengths she's going to sell that garbage. You want to check it out. So that's all I got for you. We want to thank all of our kind and generous benefactors. You make the show possible. We want to thank our Patreon supporters. You can become a channel member as well. So thanks to our kind and generous supporters, Patreon supporters, channel members, all of you make this show possible. And I want to thank each and every one of you. I want to thank this incredible, we had a great live chat tonight. We were able to ask questions of the guests, and thanks to most of you. We're very, very respectful to the guest, even though he's making pretty out there claims. We want to always remain respectful of the guests so that they will feel comfortable coming here. Thank you for helping us to get a good atmosphere where we can question, but respectfully question our guests. So that's all I got for you. Until next time, friends, my name is Stephen Cambian. Good night, and God bless all of you.